Now, a report on their financial capability by the Financial Intelligence Authority shows that more than 46% of all savers in Uganda save their monies in microfinance institutions. By comparison, less than 11% use commercial banks. So we sought to find out why microfinance institutions, including SACCOs, are becoming a more influential investment and savings vehicle in the country. So we asked Enoch Mubiike, a financial and tax consultant, to shed more light on this matter.
I think the impact to the banking sector is very minimal. When the underserved, the majority of the underserved or the low-income earners choose to save with SACCOs. In the nature of the commercial banks, their target clientele are not the low-income earners because they are very, very high risk. They do not have, you don't have comfort of physical location of this person. I could know you're working with NTV, so I know where to find you. I can easily give you a salary loan. But the low-income earners have a challenge of traceability. The low-income earners don't have constant income flows that can be well tracked. So they are a very high risk to the commercial banks. The commercial bank, from its risk analysis, would rather deal with a SACCO, where it has amalgamated all these individuals into an organization, and they are easily controlled under the SACCO. So the risk is lowered for the commercial bank when it lends to a SACCO, and then the SACCO lends to its people. But then also, the impact will be minimized because these very SACCOs are banking with the commercial banks. So it's not like the liquidity is going away to the SACCOs. The liquidity is being, actually, on the other hand, there is more liquidity to the banks because people who used to keep money under their mattresses are now keeping it with the SACCOs, which are banking with the banks. The key objective of microfinancing is financial inclusion because, as you have intimated, many of the products that are given out by commercial banks do not favor the low-income earner, who are the majority. For example, over 21% of our population is below the poverty line. Such people would never qualify for any product, would hardly qualify for any product in the commercial bank. So that's where SACCOs come in. SACCOs, the first thing they do is they promote the culture of saving. The SACCOs get like-minded people who have similar problems, most of the times who are in the same locality. So they understand each other very well. They come together and they register a SACCO. There is a whole procedure of doing that. But once the SACCO is registered, members are supposed to make contributions in terms of savings, either weekly or monthly, basing on the bylaws of the different SACCOs. So it is already building financial discipline because it's difficult when you are supposed to save on your own. Many of us fail to save when there is no support structure. It is not in our culture, neither are we taught in schools. The education system is not teaching financial discipline. So when SACCOs come together and you are reasoning with like-minded people, it becomes easier for that stewardship over each other to ensure that we save. I believe it's a cultural thing. It is a culture, a way of life. In Kenya, SACCOs have become very predominant. I'll give you some facts. In Kenya, over 45% of the GDP is linked to SACCOs. The SACCOs are contributing over 45% of the GDP. If you compare that contribution in real terms, in absolute terms, it is more than the GDP of Uganda. SACCOs in Kenya are producing more than the entire economy of Uganda. They are 45%. It's a culture. A lot of economic groups, subsectors are organized in SACCOs. As the individuals, as the citizens, we need to buy into the whole model of SACCOs, of microcredit, of saving into the culture. But also the government has a role to play. The government has to come in to motivate their citizens to invest in SACCOs. And the government of Uganda is already doing that. I can give you examples. There has been an income tax exemption on SACCOs that is currently running till 30th June 2027. Uganda is very highly enterprising, very highly enterprising. World reports are always released and we are among the most enterprising. We have been in #1 position, we have been in #2 position, highly enterprising. The paradox is that the rate of business failure is very, very high. Most enterprising and still a developing country. We as some people call it third world country. One of the challenges you will see is that everyone wants to start up their own thing. Everyone wants to be a CEO of their briefcase company. You will go to a street and you find over 10 shops next to each other selling the exact same thing. You will go to malls and you find offices dealing in the same business, very small. Actually, at what point will they be able to tap into the big economy if we are still everyone trying to have their own slice of the pie? That is where SACCOs come in. Because as SACCOs, we identify common interests and say, why don't we pool resources together? Why don't we, rather than going to the expensive money lenders, rather than hustling with banks that have very high interest rates and the qualification is very stringent, why don't we come together? It's a cultural thing, the togetherness. That challenge is there. We have had instances where people have been defrauded. Like I remember an instance of Kowe in Western Uganda that defrauded people of their monies. We have had very many such instances. The teachers' circle where money was given and was stolen. There is a lot of mismanagement, even from the point of investment, how to manage investment, how to maintain liquidity. But I want to tell you that the government has actually already set the ball rolling in terms of regulation of these SACCOs. There are structures that have been put in place. For example, right now, all SACCOs have to be fully registered. Under the Cooperative Societies Act, they have to be registered with the registrar. And after registering the SACCOs, they have to be licensed by UMRA, Uganda Microfinance Authority. They have to be regulatory authority. They have to be licensed. Now, there are measures that are being taken before licensing a SACCO. Part of those measures is education. They are taking time to educate the SACCOs in corporate governance, in investment, in management. They are taking time to invest these SACCOs before they are licensed. Bank of Uganda is going to come in to regulate the large SACCOs. So there is hope for the control of SACCOs. What people should be careful to do is to do their due diligence before joining a SACCO. Do not join a SACCO that is not licensed. If you're joining a SACCO as a promoter from inception, make sure, as your responsibility as a member of that SACCO, a promoter, make sure you follow the procedure of registering with the registrar and then obtaining licensing. There is a chicken and egg dilemma. Should the SACCOs first thrive, then they attract the talent? Or should the talent first come, then the SACCOs thrive? What I can tell you is that the trajectory for SACCOs is already to a thriving point. Because the more their returns are vivid, the more the talent we have in our country will be interested in working with them. Once people begin seeing vivid, what I'm calling vivid, tangible results from SACCOs, then they are going to become more popular. Everyone will want, when you hear your friend is now able, at a young age in their 20s, is able to have their own house through their SACCO, it will encourage many people to join SACCOs. And the more people join SACCOs, the more their investment power increases. When their investment power increases, the more vivid results we see. So it becomes a spiraling effect. The baseline is that as we are bordering a global recession, business continuity becomes paramount. To make sure that you stay in agriculture and you don't fall out of business, in whichever industry you're in, whether small manufacturing, SACCOs need to play an active role this year in ensuring that they extend credit. They first of all encourage saving and extend credit to their members. But above and beyond extending the credit, SACCOs need to play a very important role in sensitization to their members, more so in the areas of corporate governance. Because one of the things that will make businesses fail in such a high inflation period is poor financial management, making wrong decisions. Even poor financial management from technical points of view of buying expensively. This is where SACCOs should come in and promote the purchasing power. Well, if we are to get farm inputs, can we come together and we get farm inputs together at a discounted rate? SACCOs are going to play a very active role in lowering down the cost of doing business and the cost of production. I see more people joining SACCOs as people get to know about them and their benefits, as the benefits become visible. I see a lot of people join SACCOs because the reason why even the middle income earners are opting for SACCOs, you can easily get credit without security, which is one of the biggest problems with commercial banking. So the mere fact that SACCOs are structured in such a way where you can get collateral-free financing, where you can get, the guarantors are going to be your fellow members. The attrition rate is very low in SACCOs, so they are going to attract more people, and we are going to see a dominance of SACCO-related investments. The product SACCOs are offering are customized because, you know, the bank will come up with a product assuming one size fits all across board. Even though it is said it's a product for agriculture, within the agriculture sector, there are different sizes, economic sizes of businesses. There are different regions that have different challenges. But since these SACCOs are localized and they understand, they are member-owned, they understand their issues, they have common interests, they are going to come up with competitive products that are going to sway very many people, even from commercial banks to the SACCOs. But again, remember, still the commercial banks will maintain the liquidity.